Hello and welcome back to another Hornsey Broadway video and a little bit about my life in lockdown. Over the last few months things have quietened down on the clock front and I'm now officially retired, although there are still one or two jobs in hand for the rest of the backlog. So hopefully in a few weeks time I should have managed to have cleared all that out of the way, and then I can concentrate on other things, either outside or on the layout, or doing a bit of rolling stock modelling on the bench. So this is the workshop, less than half the size it used to be. At one time I'd have been sitting on maybe 30 or 40 clocks at any one time, so it did become a little bit overwhelming, but it's nice now just to be able to have a few little clocks to work on and work out the rest of my semi-retirement. Here's the modelling bench, which would normally have been full of clocks and clock parts. So now I can concentrate more on doing some rolling stock modelling. I've got a few locos and wagons in for repair at the moment, some for customising and others where bits have fallen off. And I've put a window in the side of the partition there so I can at least see the sky, especially this time of year, just to know what the weather's like and whether it's an opportune moment to go out for a walk. Right, let me take you into the railway room and I'll give you a guided tour to show you where the trains come from, where they go to and what part they play in the scene. Here we are on the other side of the curtain, and I normally leave the bridge down because Sarah needs to get in here for all the packaging stuff that's stored under the layout. It's a good storeroom underneath there. So unless it's a running session I normally leave this piece down, but it's fairly easy to put together. I just slot that into there, like so, and then that lines up with there, and then pull it all together and it's nice and solid. I've got some bolts here that I'll put in, but I won't show you me doing that. And then that's in a situation where we can actually run trains now. So this is the end curve. We're going to be following the layout in a anti-clockwise direction, which is basically following the trains on the down route away from London. So bear with me and I'll take you with a tour of the room. And this is the latest baseboard which joins the storage yard to the end curve. I've made the board wide enough to incorporate another 10 sidings, which I can put smaller formations such as EMUs and DMUs and some of the smaller freight trains. They can all be stored there. And then it frees up space in the main storage yard, which we'll see in a second. I always like to have at least 4 sidings empty so I can just run trains around, just watch them go by. Here's a northbound 6-car Cravens DMU going through Road 4. And that'll just happily go round and round until I put it into a siding. I normally have to move something out of the way to accommodate it. Hence the new sidings that I'm going to be constructing at this end of the layout. And then hopefully I should be able to have all the stock on the track without having to manually lift it on and off all the time. There are 16 roads in total, 4 for each loop. The back 8 sidings are generally used for all the East London to the Midlands traffic, whilst the nearest 8 sidings are used for the King's Cross suburban and express services. So the nearest 8 tracks represent both the down and the up King's Cross, with the furthest sidings being the down and the up East London. Showing a selection of clutter on the walls. Nothing of great value, all replica stuff, but it's all within the theme of the railways, especially from the era that I remember. And I've always had an interest in buses as well, so the bus collection is made up of customised, repainted and a few straight out of the box. This is the north end of the storage yard. Again, showing more clutter that I've accumulated over the years. Bus stop signs. Right, it's time for a change. So I shall bring the MGR train into siding 11, and whatever's in there will have to come out for the time being. Now the Class 40 is moving up with a ballast train, and the 47 with the MGRs coming in behind it. Originally this crossover baseboard was only ever used when the layout went out to exhibitions, but now I've got a bit more space. I can incorporate this crossover at the end of the storage yard and before it disappears into the tunnel. This area is also good for just doing minor repairs, wheel cleaning, etc. to locomotives with one of Greg Brooks' specially constructed loco cradles. So that's quite handy for cleaning the wheels and doing any other light maintenance that's required. In the foreground we've got the two up and down King's Cross routes, and in the background we've got the up and down East London route. There's also a fifth track which acts as a loop and the up slow. Here's a Lima Class 40 on a down parcels train. Sounds like it needs some maintenance. There's a bit of squeaking going on there. The middle track, or the yellow route as it's known, with corresponding yellow switches on the panel, is primarily used for shuttling DMUs and EMUs and stabling them, but it can also be used as a route for getting the East London traffic back into the right storage yard. The 5 tracks turn 180 degrees in an adjacent outbuilding and reappear here. At the moment there's a peak with a rake of 16-ton minerals blocking the up East London line, so it's quite handy using this yellow line as a diversion route. With the route set, the Class 501 coming from Broad Street can now cross over onto the down fast, which also gives access to the down loop, and this will be heading for the down crossover. We'll go to the other end of the tunnel sections so you can see where that coke train came from and where the 501's going to. Here we see the pair of Class 20s with the coke train taking the up slow, and then we'll be diverging at Finsbury Park to get to East London. And this is where the Class 501 emerges. Awaiting a clear path into the station. Hopefully that gives you an idea of where most of the tracks go to and where they come from, and how it's configured into the Scenic section. So this is Velcro, which I normally put the front cloth on at exhibitions, and it sticks to my jumper. The control panels can either be fitted to the front when it's at home, or they could be slid into the other side of the layout. Here we are looking down the railway room, down the entire scenic length of the layout, which is about 28.5 feet from the loco shed all the way down to the station Scenic brake. An express hauled by a Deltic heads north on the down fast, whilst on the up fast a class 40 takes in a sleeper train to King's Cross. In the background you can see the station, which is still under construction, as is the baseboard it sits on. This is the new station extension board that has just recently been constructed. Only half width for the moment, mainly for access. A class 25 with a Temple Mills to Towton freight heads north on the down East London line, whilst on the up East London line we see a Freightliner service bound for Stratford. There's still a lot of detail work to be finished in this area, with platform lamps, people, litter and a whole host of other small detail. I hope you've enjoyed this selection of clips on a virtual tour of the railway room at Hornsey Broadway. As we see, a pair of class 15s are just passing by with a mixed freight for Temple Mills, and hopefully in the near future I'll be able to show you more about what's going on at the station, with some new custom made platform lamps and various other detail bits and pieces, and then eventually we'll have the original underground scene reinstated in front of the station. We'll finish off with a clip of a 501 coming back to Hornsey Broadway so we can all get off and go home for our tea. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Here's a class 501 from Broad Street terminating at Hornsey Broadway.